Kate Peck and welcome to the 2021 Yamaha Australian Off-Road Championship presented by MXStore. This is the breeding ground for some of the world's greatest off-road racers. Think Toby Price winning the Dakar. Think Jess Gardner winning 6 international 6-day Enduros, and Daniel Milner and Daniel Sanders becoming world endurance outright champions. So, let's get you up to AORC speed. This sport is one of the most unique off-road racing championships in the world. There's 3 race formats: sprints, cross-country and enduro, with multiple classes of varying engine capacities and competitor age. Let's meet our riders.
Daniel Milner on a KTM 500 EXCF for the KTM racing team. I think the chance of not lining up for 2021 season would have been if COVID put a stop to it again. I think no matter what, I was making sure I was going to be here on the start line and feeling fit and ready to go.
I'm Jonty Rinders. I ride a Sherco 300 for the Motor Pirelli Sherco Off-Road Racing team. Pretty much through COVID. I was just wanting to go racing, so I was just sitting at home waiting for the call to go racing. When the call came to say we're going back AORC racing, I was prepared and I couldn't wait to get back here. I love the sport and it's really good.
I'm Joshua Green. I ride a Yamaha WRF 450 for Shop Yamaha. Yeah, for 2021, we weren't sure if, the whole COVID situation went down last year. We weren't sure if we were going to go racing this year, but everything's pulled together and here we are at round 1, so super exciting.
I'm Todd Waters and I ride a Husqvarna FE 450 for the factory Husqvarna racing team. So COVID was a big issue for us, but regardless of what happened, I come to race the AORC in 2019 to get some experience, and that's what I was doing regardless. I was coming to race it. It's something that I wanted to do myself. It's super cool that I've landed on the factory team for this year to give the championship a go.
Hi, I'm Mason Simmons. I'm riding a Gas EC 250F for the Gas racing team. I was always going to be lining up for the 2021 season. Been looking forward to this one for a long time now. It's been well over a year off, so we're excited to go racing.
Hey, my name's Luke Stark. I ride a Yamaha WR250F and I race for the Shop Yamaha Enduro racing team. Yeah, after the year of COVID, obviously a lot of us had to go get some jobs to pay the bills and stuff like that. But once the racing season got secured again, my spot at Yamaha was secured and we're all keen to go racing.
Hi, I'm Jess Gardner. I ride a Yamaha WR250F for the Yamaha MXStore Ballads Off-Road team. No, I was definitely coming to the AORC this year. It's one of my favourite events in Australia. It's a really good series and I love to be a part of it. So I was definitely coming back this year to try and defend my title.
Hi, my name is Emma Lesevic. I ride a CRF 250R for the Honda factory racing team. 2020, I was meant to be doing full motocross this season under the guidance of my team manager Yuri Konski in preparation for my 2022 season. So I wasn't meant to be racing any off-roads, but I got convinced by Hannah and my partner Andy. They roped me into it early this year, told me I should really give it a go. So after that, I gave the team a call and we're here round 1, ready to roll.
Hi, my name is Emily Carlson and I ride a Yamaha WR250F and I ride for Yamaha Motor Australia. We had a big year off last year because of COVID. It was a bit sad, but we're all back again and hopefully it stays that way. I was hoping the whole time that we're going to race this year. It was sort of only COVID that could stop me. I was always planning on racing, so it's really nice being back here at the first round.
Blake Hollis, I ride Yamaha WR250F and I'm riding for Blue Crew Yamaha racing team. Not after last year, I was pretty keen to get back at it and definitely try and win a championship this year and just improve on everything that I didn't do last year.
My name's Prashura and I'm riding a KTM 250 as a privateer. So it's good this year because after coronavirus we didn't really know we were going to race this year, but it's really great that we're able to get this round together, so looking forward to getting back behind it and seeing how we go.
This weekend we kick off with over 300 competitors in 14 different classes in the gnarly sandcastle that is Golden Beach, Victoria. Are we here for swimming? No, we're here for racing. Golden Beach sits about 3.5 hours east of Melbourne, midway down Gippsland's stunning 90-mile beach. We hit the ground running with round one and the first cross country for the season. The riders need to be prepared for 20 kilometres of relentless deep sand, big whoops and aggressive tree roots that will become more of an issue as the race goes on. For cross country, the riders will race for approximately 3 hours. The competitors in each class to complete the most amount of laps in the least amount of time will be declared the winner. Round two on Sunday sees sprints. Sprints is a number of heats at a short course that range from about 9 to 12 minutes, depending on how wide open you keep it. ...2021 is a fresh start. However, there is much unfinished business from a shortened 2020 season. Rivalries to play out, points to prove, contracts to keep, who's been putting in the hard yards, and the really aggressive training behind the scenes to kick off the season with some silverware. Well, let's go find out. It had been more than 12 months between events due to COVID-19, and whilst it felt like forever to many, the wait to resume off-road hostilities finally came to an end. Golden Beach became the opening round of the 2021 championship, following the postponement of Nowra due to bad weather. But there was one thing for certain when the teams and riders arrived in Victoria's Gippsland region. They were thrilled to be back racing.
It's been a long time away from racing, and I'm excited to get back out there, that's for sure. So it's it's been too long, and it honestly feels like I'm starting to race again. Like it's fresh, I'm a kid again, so I'm probably as excited as I can be and keen to get out there.
E2 is always pretty stacked. I think Toddy Waters is definitely going to be probably my biggest threat, but you can't count out anyone else. There's Michael Driscoll and Gronquist and Jeremy Carpenter. There's a whole heap of there's a couple of young kids in the class too. So I mean, you can never count anyone out.
Yeah, definitely. To be racing the Gas EC 250F for the Gas racing team's awesome. To be the lone rider, you got my own mechanic, got the own truck just for me here, so it's pretty cool, and I can't wait to go racing.
Let's talk about setup for cross country, because you need to approach the race a little bit differently, right? We've got the tank, which is probably the number one difference.
Yeah, definitely. For cross country racing, we usually go to a bigger tank just so we can eliminate at least fuel stops as possible. Can maybe get away with 1 or 2 fuel stops for the whole 3 hours. So if you run a standard tank, you'll have to stop every second or first or second lap, you know what I mean? So that's the only massive difference with cross country racing is the big tank, and everything else stays pretty similar.
Hey Jess, what have we got going on here? There look like some serious straps happening.
Yeah, well, I'm just kitting up, ready to race today, and I've got my K8 pod knee braces ready to go, and yeah, we're getting excited, and yeah, the juniors are out there now, and the track's looking amazing. So.
And your junior girl who's on your team is doing exceptionally well, Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle Mcdonald is flying out there today. She was a little bit nervous heading into it, I guess, as we all are right now. We haven't raced in so long, obviously with COVID. So one of her main competitors back from motocross last year, who's riding really well, Taylor Thompson's out there today. So they've been swapping and changing, so it's been really exciting for us here at the pits as well.
The junior cross-country race that was held in the morning of round one gave all the senior teams and riders an idea of how the track conditions were going to play out when they took to the Golden Beach course in the afternoon. And the feedback from their junior counterparts wasn't too promising, with strong winds and dust causing havoc. Following a track inspection by senior riders and officials, event organisers decided to change the race format from the scheduled cross-country route to a 2-lap super sprint, lasting approximately 25 minutes per lap in duration.
It will be a lot more safer. It's like I was questioning out there on the site lap, like where I'm actually going to pass people, I'm actually going to see where they are. So as bummed as I am, this will be really good.
How bad was it out there? I mean, it must have been pretty bad for them to change the entire format.
Yeah, well, down the back section of the track in the tight trees, it's like a real black sand, so it was really thick, like fog, dust. So I had to come to a complete stop a few times because you literally could not see any of the course. So a lot of riders were stopping for long periods of time to actually see, so quite bad.
I know, I was very excited for the cross country. We just went out in the sight lap there and it was super dusty, but I just thought that's what enduro was. So I was like, you know, I need to try and get a good start and try and bomb it out front and get out of the dust. So obviously, you know, there's a lot of different level riders out there, which I was surprised at. There's a lot of, you know, slower riders, so that would have made it quite difficult for us catching up onto those guys with the dust. But man, today, you know, I'm a sand rider. The track's sandy, rough, and I was super keen to see, you know, how I'd stack up against these guys. You know, Milner's, he's raced around the world. He's a world-class racer. We've got Greenie. These guys are top riders. They know what they're doing, and I was excited to go against them in 3 hours.
It meant a complete change of mindset, not just in bike setup, but in their mentality as they committed to the new layout. How did they fare? We'll find out after the break.
After a change of format from cross-country to a super sprint due to dangerous visibility issues out there on track because of the dust, the riders will now line up solo and depart in 30-second intervals to take on one blindingly fast sprint lap of 20 kilometres to head back to the pits, water themselves, feed themselves, do their bikes and head back out for another lap.
With their mindsets now completely in super sprint mode, the nerves were starting to show for some of the leading contenders as they face the countdown starter to kick off the 2021 season.
Obviously done a quick change to the super sprint, so still going to be a massive loop though. I think it's going to be around 25 minutes, so it's pretty much a moto, you know, the motocross, so out in the bush, so it should be good.
And how are the nerves?
Yeah, getting pretty nervous now, yeah, well, but once we get out there and get a few corners in, we should be good, hopefully, so I'm excited and keen to get out there.
Greenie, was white a good choice for clothing for this round?
I'm going to go with no. But I don't get a choice, and I look good for photos, so that's all good.
Well, we'll check in with you after, because this is a before, and we'll get you after.
All right, sweet, thank you.
The favourite and AORC's very own world champ, KTM's Danielle Mcdonald, kicked off the opening round of the season in the E3 class like a bat out of hell, dominating the 12-bike field across the two 20k laps. His main opposition, Pirelli Motul Sherco's Jonty Reinders on the two-stroke, was the closest rider that could capitalise on any error from Milner should that arise. However, this was not to be. And after the opening lap, Milner had a gap of 1 minute 57 seconds over Reinders and extended that gap on lap 2, eventually winning Class E3 by over 4 minutes 41 seconds. Maintaining a 1 minute 46 second gap in third place, newly returned after a shocking back injury, number 93 Thomas McCormack stayed trouble-free to come home third in the class on his KTM 500.
Yeah, pretty excited about it. Just you know, stoked to be out here racing, and you know, we had a clean day and didn't really put any mistakes on. Yeah, just rode a smooth race and made sure that we came out swinging.
Picked up where you left off last year, so I feel like you've got still a bit of bee in your bonnet after 2019 loss.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. You know, sitting on the couch at home thinking about it all year wasn't a fun time. So yeah, we picked up where we left off, and pretty excited to do so. And you know, got some good sponsors that have helped me get here and work hard over the off season. So it's you know, made it that bit exciting straight away coming out with a win.
Yeah, my day obviously didn't go to plan as such, but we're happy to be second in the E3 class, but a few crashes that held us back in the outright results today, so hopefully we can clean those mistakes up for tomorrow and come out firing.
And tell me about the crashes.
Yeah, so sort of just, it's pretty gnarly out there and just got a bit excited down one of the straights and ended up getting thrown over the handlebars, but we're all in one piece and yeah, that's the main thing.
The always exciting tight battles of the E2 class kicked off. Shop Yamaha's Josh Green, Husqvarna's Todd Waters and Yamaha Blue Crew's Michael Driscoll duking it out for the top honours. Despite Green's flying start, Waters took command of the class lead and opened up a modestly comfortable gap of 16 seconds, with Driscoll a further 10 seconds of drift.
Yeah, first super sprint, 30 minutes. I'm used to doing 30-minute motos around a 2-minute lap, so having a lap that's 30 minutes long and different the whole way is it's very difficult to sprint actually because you don't know where you're going. So I found that very different for me. Also, there's a little bit of, I went off in P3, so caught up to one of the guys in front and got some dust down the back. So I'm hoping that, this one I'll start P2 and I can try and get a clear run and get myself a bit closer to Milner.
How was the dust out there?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was P3 and going down into the trees where there wasn't much wind flow. It was very dusty, it was quite dusty, so I can understand why they called it off. When I come through back, I was like, this is enduro. I thought that's what they did. But yeah, it would have been very dangerous. So, the call was made and it was a right call to make. So, yeah, we'll have some fun doing some sprints.
Despite Waters' relaxed attitude after the opening lap of the race, there was no time for relax when the trio resumed their battle for lap 2. With everything to gain and nothing to lose, Green went all out to reel in the Husqvarna, finishing the second lap first across the line by 2 seconds. But it wasn't enough to close the gap. Waters came home with the candy. 13.5 seconds clear of Green, with Driscoll claiming third overall in the class, a further 51 seconds adrift.
Well, actually, we didn't work that hard because I thought it was going to be a three-hour race. So we got cut short, but in saying that, a 30-minute sprint is, 25, I should say. It's a long time. That's something that's new for me. So I just tried to get in a bit of a groove and not make some mistakes. That's probably the most challenging thing out there. Is first one I caught up to some dust, and that was new for me because motocross is, it's all groomed and nice, and so it's definitely new for me. But got to give it up to the Husqvarna team. Jason, mechanic, just everybody. My fiance Jill's here with a little 3-week-old baby. So it's new times for us and new times off-road, so it's exciting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mix-up with what was going on with the track conditions and stuff. We weren't sure. We went out for the cross-country and it was too dry, so they called it back at sprints. And so it was pretty flat out, pretty busy. First sprint was good. I had a little fall, which cost me. So, but then I regrouped in the second sprint and got the E2 win in that sprint. So it's game on tomorrow.
Yeah, so you're going to get hungry, obviously, get an ice bath, go for a track walk,
Yep.
and then think about how you're going to strategically approach tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. I knew Toddy was going to be strong in the sand, and I'm just going to go have a quick look at the track and just regroup for tomorrow and start stronger and hopefully don't lay it down and put a good day together and hopefully we can come out on top.
Moving into E1, where the competition got hot quick. The new kid on the block and Gas's first factory AORC rider, Mason Simmons, sprinted away on his MC250F to stake his claim for E1 honours in the opening race. But it wasn't without troubles. Simmons had a few minor crashes during the opening lap of the super sprint, putting it down to lack of seat time in the past 12 months.
Yeah, I did. I had 2 little crashes, so that did cost me time. So when I come in, I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be, but To come in with 2 crashes and still be first in class is nice. So hopefully in the next one we can keep it on 2 wheels and see what we can do.
So talk me through the crashes. What happened? Where did you come unstuck?
The first one was just a little tip over, nothing too serious, and that was in the first half of the track, and in the second half I had a pretty decent one actually. It sort of kicked me off the side and I was running beside the bike for a little bit trying to slow it down, and then just had to let it go and tumbled into the trees a little bit, but got back up and got going again and finished pretty strong, I feel. So yeah, hopefully next one we don't do them things again.
So no issues with you or the bike going forward. Do you need to make any changes?
I've made a couple changes to the bike, just with the suspension, things like that, just because the track is pretty nasty, you know what I mean? There's a fair few holes and things like that, and tree roots poking through, so, but I'm fine, my body's fine, I just got to, focus.
But those minor incidents didn't seem to slow him down, as he maintained his composure during the second lap to take home the class honours. The same couldn't be said for reigning 3-time E1 champ, Shop Yamaha's Luke Stike. He had a frustrating start to his championship defence, unhappy with the setup of his Shop Yamaha entry and not feeling completely comfortable with his pace during the opening lap.
Yeah, lap wasn't the cleanest, had a few mistakes early on, and I just felt like I missed the mark a little bit on the bike setup and that first kind of the track, how it developed and stuff like that, but we made some changes going into the second one, and hopefully we get a better feeling out there.
And how was it out there in terms of the terrain, the sand, the dust?
Yeah, it was not too dusty because the gaps are fairly decent, and I messed that lap up, so I wasn't really catching too much dust. So, but no, the track's getting fair rough, and but yeah, it should be a completely different track this next one.
And what changes do you need to make before you head out again?
We just made some suspension changes to the bike, so weather should be better.
He put in a demonic effort for lap 2, but his efforts fell short and Yamaha Blue Crew's Kyron Bacon consolidating P2 by 17 seconds. The 2019 EJ champ Bacon was like a pig in mud, who in lap 2 squeezed 28 seconds out of his lap 1 time, throwing a spanner in the works for Yamaha factory rider Stike. Let's watch how these rivalries play out and keep your eye on that Bacon.
I wasn't really expecting to be that far up there. I didn't really know where I was going to be at coming into a new season, so it's been a while since I've been racing all them guys, so it's good to be racing again. So happy with my result, and hopefully today we can just try to keep it upright and try to stay in that spot, so that's the plan.
And what worked for you? Was it preparation? Were you just in a good headspace? Did the bike feel good?
No, the bike's feeling awesome now. We've finally got a good setup coming into the year, and had a lot of bike time on the bike now, so feeling good and keen to get out there.
Yeah, exactly right. The second lap I cleaned up my riding just a little bit and tried to stay a bit smoother and keep out of the real rough lines and stuff, and it worked. I didn't lay on the ground like I did twice in the first one, so kept it on 2 wheels and come home with a win.
This is Gas's first outing for AORC. How did the bike fare?
Yeah, bike was awesome. Jolesy, choice suspension, the bike handling awesome, and my mechanic Jordan has done a ripper job on the bike. So to be able to put the gas on the top step, for its first race is pretty cool.
With world champion Jess Gardner in their midst, the battle for bragging rights in EW was always going to be game on. Yamaha MXStore Ballards Gardner headed into the 2021 season as the odds-on favourite to retain her title, but was facing serious competition from the likes of Yamaha-supported Emily Carlson and Pro MX competitor Honda's Emma Milicevic. Milicevic is planning a limited AORC campaign due to Penrite Pro MX's championship event clashes, so the factory Honda rider had to go full tilt to keep it within range of the reigning champ. Gardner was already having a busy weekend. On top of running her own championship defence, her Yamaha MXStore Ballards team was also looking after Danielle Mcdonald and her eventual P1 success in the JG class. With the top female riders being held up by traffic, dust and visibility were also creating major issues. But despite this, Gardner put her best foot forward with a clear 25-second gap to Milicevic for lap 1.
Hey mate, that's some serious moto makeup you got there.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. Talk me through it. It looks really tough.
Yeah, well, the start was a bit chaotic because we didn't really know where to start. Obviously, we're meant to run for cross country and now they changed it to a super long sprint. So, yeah, I seen Emma pushing in, who's my main competitor, and I thought, oh, I better go too. So I followed her in off the start, and we had a 30-second gap. But before I knew it, I was right behind her, and then we got into the dusty section, as you can see. And then I just couldn't see, so I had to keep dropping back. And then when it wasn't dusty, I'd catch back up, and then it dusty, and I was, yeah, pretty much chasing my tail the whole race.
Yeah, and how are you feeling?
Pretty good considering. I was getting a little bit tired towards the end there because it's quite rough out there after the juniors race all day and the pros are out there. So I think I just did about 2,000 squats in that thing. So but I'm feeling pretty good considering. I thought I would be arm pumped, but yeah, I feel good. So fingers crossed for the next one.
Probably top 3. I didn't have the best run then. I was made a lot of mistakes out on track. I had a few close moments and lost a lot of time. So I'm not exactly sure right now. So hoping for top 3.
Is this kind of an exciting time to come and check out where you are on the board?
Yeah, it usually is because just to find out exactly how you went because you know obviously you're out there on your own. But the timing's not really working right now. So.
However, the Honda rider found her rhythm and shaved off 15 seconds for lap 2, getting within 8 seconds of Gardner to finish the round. But Gardner remained untouchable, taking out the opening round from Milicevic by 34 seconds and striking first blood for Yamaha, with Emily Carlson still managing a P3 after a mid-race off.
Thank you so much. It was definitely challenging out there for the first round back. Obviously it's been a long time off the bike and it was very physical out there today. So I'm going to enjoy getting in the ocean this afternoon for an ice bath.
Oh, you're heading straight to the beach. We are at Golden Beach.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be taking advantage of that because it's nice and cold down here in southern Victoria. But yeah, it was a tough day, that first round. Obviously I caught up to Emma in that one, like I said earlier, and yeah, it was pretty dusty. You see my face earlier, but this one I had a nice clean run. The track was a lot rougher because there were so many seniors out there on that rough sand track. So I was just really trying to stay smooth in that one, and yeah, it worked out well for me.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bittersweet one, that one. I was riding a lot better. Made some changes on the bike after the first sprint, which is a lot better. But, you know, I caught the person in front of me halfway and just couldn't get by them, wouldn't let me by. So I got really held up for the last 10 minutes or so. So, you know, it's a bit hard here and you lost by 2.7 seconds when you got held up, you know, for 10 plus minutes. So I've got good speed, good confidence coming into tomorrow, really. I just got to keep building on that. I'm happy with my setup, happy with my bike, considering I haven't done a lot on the off-road side this season. So just keep building, go a long season ahead. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it didn't really go as we wanted. With the first super sprint was a bit tough and had a bit of a crash, and then after that the bike wouldn't start, so I lost a lot of available time there. So lost about 2 minutes there, which was a bit of a bugger. So then for the next super sprint I got seated way back. So had to pass 4 guys and then sitting in the dust. So when I was about to pass the 5th guy, I just hit like a dust wall on one of the straights and couldn't see anything. So I hit a tree just with my bars and went over the bars and had a big one and bent the bars and everything. So it was a bit of a bugger. So it definitely wasn't the start we wanted.
In the Enduro Juniors EJ class, we tucked into a case of David versus Goliath. Blake Hollis representing the might of Yamaha and the Blue Crew development team against KTM privateer Sam Prashura. Despite a few minor issues when he left the pit area at the commencement of his opening lap, Hollis hit the ground running with scintillating pace, easily setting the quickest time of the class and knocking on the door of a top 10 overall result in 11th.
Yeah, it started out not too bad. Made a mistake just in the pit section, which is right at the first section of the test. But I just tried to find a rhythm and stay smooth without crashing, and yeah, I brought it home in 11th outright, first in class, so I was pretty happy with that. I just got to keep it upright and keep it going for the next one.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. And what are you doing here? Looks like you're doing some work.
Just changing the forks. Didn't feel as comfortable as what I would like in the sand, but I'll change that and see how we go on the next one.
Yeah. And is there any other changes that you need to make? And are you making the changes or are your mechanics making the changes? I like this, you're doing it all DIY.
I'm making the changes because, yeah, I'm the one riding the bike. I know.
I'm the boss man.
So, yeah.
Hollis crossed the round 1 finish line in dominant fashion ahead of Prashura, who was just under 48 seconds further behind, with Kaido Stevens taking 3rd place honours for the True Painting team. The sun sets on a wild day of punishing and relentless deep sand. 2 gruelling super sprint laps that separated who put down the pies after COVID and who didn't miss a beat. There were some good luck stories and there were some heartbreaks. But that is off-road racing, and sometimes it's a brutal game of luck. No rest for the wicked though, because though they might be tired and weary after round 1, they have to do it all again the next day, with sprint racing for round 2.
This morning the sun rose on some very sore and weary but excited and energised bodies. A rude reminder as to just how tough this sport is on body and bike. Round 1 super sprint saw Danielle Milner take out the best overall time with 48 minutes and 27 seconds. Followed closely by the new kid on the AORC block, Todd Waters, the reigning MX1 champ, with 1 minute and 36 seconds behind. The EW class was closely contested, with Emma Milicevic of Honda Factory Racing only 8 seconds behind Jess Gardner on her Yamaha. But there's no rest for the wicked, and today we do not slow down with round 2, sprints.
With the first round nerves now out of everybody's system, the focus shifted to what lay ahead for round 2. For the E1, E2, E3 and EJ classes, they would do 5 laps on the Yamaha WR450F layout, whilst the EW would do 1 lap extra on the MXStore Ballards layout. With little margin for error in terms of time and physical endurance, the main protagonists through our classes all shared an air of optimism on what lay ahead.
Yeah, fitness-wise, I feel pretty good. I haven't blistered. Obviously, we just shy of an hour's riding yesterday, so it wasn't too big. But the diabetes, it was a bit hard actually, because we obviously prepared for a 3-hour, and then with the dust, they called it short for they turned it into a super sprint. So I was prepared for a 3-hour and carb loading and everything before we went out to make sure that I could sustain my sugar levels at a good level that I could race the whole 3 hours. So once we didn't do that and we came in and had a rest for a while, my sugar levels went sky high. So was kind of chasing it with insulin there for a fair bit, but we got it as good as we can for what we were dealing with, and feeling pretty strong and ready to go for today.
Yeah, not too bad actually. A little bit stiff, but we just done a little bit of warm up, and it seems like it's pretty good now.
Any blisters or anything? Any rubbing of knee pads or?
No, it's all good. It's all good, ready to go. I'm looking forward to rebounding from a not so bad day yesterday, but looking to get a better result today.
Well, I always try to go in similar, I'm always trying to go in the same intensity no matter the duration of the race, but today it is a shorter race, it's only 10 minutes, so you really got to charge hard the whole way because there's no room for error, or as soon as you slack off, you'll be seeing it in your time. So yeah, just really trying to charge the whole way through.
And did you get to go to the beach for a swim last night?
No, I actually didn't. I really wanted to, but I decided to go walk the track, and I ended up being out there till dark. It ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was out there. I thought it was 4 or 5K, it ended up being 7, so I ended up walking in the dark, and some of the boys from the Cooey Rub Club were nice enough to give me a bit of a lift back, but I was out in the bush somewhere.
As the field lined up ready to sprint off for round 2, an interested spectator was watching intently from the sidelines as he returned to the series that kicked off his international off-road odyssey.
I'm with 5-time AORC champ Daniel Sanders, aka Chucky. This is kind of where it all started for you, right?
Yeah, it is. This is where my roots were grown here in the off-road championship here in Australia and Victoria as well on this property. So it's really cool to come back down here and watch the kids go around and also the big bikes rip it up. But I would love to be out here, but I'm here watching and supporting, so it's really good fun.
So why aren't you out here? Talk us through the reasons, and you've got a very big year ahead of you, obviously.
Yeah, I do. So I'm obviously moved across to the rally side of things now. So it's really cool and a really busy year coming up. So just flying out next month. So I don't want to do anything too crazy, and just trying to stay up on two wheels and keep my my training regime up to scratch, and just keep having fun with it. But it's also good to have some time off and just watch a race now and then.
Round 2 sees the sprint format play out. Riders depart one at a time at 20-second intervals from fastest to slowest, depending on their recent results. They need to be prepared for high speed, high accuracy, and high intensity as they are at the absolute limit for 7 blistering kilometres in this crazy weather with lots of dust and lots of wind. They'll then finish, return to the pits for 30 minutes, recharge, refresh, rehydrate, refuel, head on out back for another lap.
Round 2 saw the seniors take to Yamaha WR450F track, where Danielle Mcdonald once again showed why he is one of the best riders in Australian and international off-road motorcycle racing. Having showed complete domination in the opening round just the day before, Milner quickly tore up the Golden Beach course, swiftly showing Jonty Reinders and Thomas McCormack of E3 only one podium step would suffice, and that's the top one. Milner increased his gap on average 30 seconds per lap over his rivals on completion of the 5-lap course, and not even a substantial mid-race off on his KTM would allow the others to catch up. The final wash-up saw Milner complete the 5-lap sprint in 42 minutes 10 seconds, 2 minutes 23 seconds clear of Reinders, and 4 minutes 12 seconds clear of McCormack.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be back racing. I'm just excited to be out here and racing and seeing all the faces again, and to come back out on top is it's awesome. I honestly feel like a big relief with the year that we had last year. So just being able to come and win the first 2 rounds is an awesome feeling.
Yeah, pretty happy with today's results. Yesterday was pretty tough, so to bounce back, ride a bit more like myself today, but still not quite where we want to be. But on that podium behind Daniel, that's a good start to the series.
And I know you've had a little accident with your hand. I saw it yesterday. You've got some stitches in there. Was that all right? Did that come undone?
Yeah, so I had a little incident with a Stanley knife last week and ended up with 5 stitches in my thumb. And after yesterday it split open, and then I just taped her up today and haven't taken my glove off since this morning. So we'll reassess that after today.
Yeah, it's been a long 5 years since I've been at the track, and it's just great to be here and having some fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you've come back from 2 massive back injuries, so how did you feel going into that race today?
I tried not to put much pressure on myself. I did a little tester race a couple of weeks ago and realised I could just, I was worried that I was going to put too much pressure on myself and try too hard, but yeah, I had fun, and I think you guys will see me the rest of them.
The change of format for round 2 seemed more to the liking of Husqvarna's Todd Waters. The reigning Penrite Pro MX4 MX1 champion treated every sandy Golden Beach lap like it was a moto, with the dominant Danielle Mcdonald in his sights for the fastest overall time. For the opening 2 tours of the E2 class, the newbie to Yamaha's AORC, Waters showed what fresh, hungry blood was capable of, setting the fastest overall time upon completing the second lap, and briefly looked like he was set to threaten Milner for the overall top spot. But that was short-lived. On his next out, Waters suffered a tumble, losing time to Shop Yamaha's Josh Green, but only by a slender margin of 1.3 seconds. Not much in the grand scheme of off-road. Although Green again set the quickest time in the fourth sprint after 5 hard-fought laps of rugged and windy terrain, Todd Waters made it a clean sweep by half a minute over Green, who finished 35 seconds further ahead of his score. Jeremy Carpentier came home in fourth place, showing a strong mindset to put aside his partner Jess Gardner's own issues, and in fifth came Stefan Drankis.
Johnny Waters on the Husqvarna, congratulations. A really strong effort from you this weekend. You really showed the ARC boys how it's done.
Well, not really, because Milner smoked me this weekend. It was, I thought he dropped it in one of them, and I won that stage, and then I dropped it the next one, and yeah, he smoked it. So hats off to Dan. He's riding insane. Like, it's I've got some homework to do, but overall I'm pumped. Like, it's interesting, and I'm loving it.
I'm pretty tired, to be honest. It was a pretty brutal weekend. The track was pretty gnarly, so I'm happy to get through that. It was quite fast and very motocrossy, which suited Toddy well. So I'm happy with my result. I'm happy where I'm at, and looking forward to the next round.
Yeah, I was stoked to come away with P3 in the class. I got Todd Waters and Josh Green. They're riding exceptionally well. But today was super tough. The track got super gnarly, and it was heaps of fun though. Probably the most fun I've ever had on the dirt bike. But now I'm just happy to come away healthy in one piece.
After storming up through the field in round one to finish 6th overall and 2nd in class, Yamaha Blue Crew's Kyron Bacon was in a good place to challenge round one winner Mason Semmons. The pair were also gunning it for manufacturer glory. Bacon for Yamaha and Semmons for Gas, so everything was at stake. For lap one, Bacon drew first blood, setting his benchmark around 5 seconds quicker than Semmons, no doubt striking fear into the Gas team and into fellow Yamaha rider Luke Stike, who was 10 seconds adrift of Bacon. It was game on from here in. Semmons, Bacon and Stike riding at absolute max capacity. So much so that on the last corner of lap 3, Bacon hit a rough bump at full pelt, which sent him and his Yamaha YZ250F on a Luna Park ride. Luckily uninjured and not missing a beat, he eventually found his bent wheels and limped to the finish line.
Hiram, we just saw a monumental stack on the last corner of the seniors track for your second sprint out. What happened?
Oh no, I had a good start coming into the second sprint, but I felt good coming towards the last section of the track, and hit a bit of a bump after a bit of a straight, pretty much the last corner of the track. So I don't know, not quite sure what happened, but the bump had a bit of a kick on it, and the back's gone up, and bike's cartwheeled and have gone over bars. So definitely was a bit scary, but.
Yeah, it was full on because I was standing right there, and my cameraman described you as a demented mole trying to find your bike after, because there was just so much dust.
Yeah, for sure. Getting back up after, I wasn't really sure where I was, to be honest, but it was, yeah.
Right, now let's yeah, exactly. We're glad that you're safe, but we want to look at your tyre as well, because you've changed it.
Yeah.
You've done a good job.
Definitely not going back on the bike, that's for sure.
No.
Nah.
It didn't blow any spokes?
Nah. Surprisingly, none of the spokes have fallen off. It's just there.
Semmons took home the class honours and 3rd overall, capping off a strong weekend for Gas. Despite the mid-race crash, Bacon salvaged a strong 2nd in Class 1 for Yamaha, with Luke Stike making it 2 Yamahas in the top 3. Corey Hammond and William Price completed the top 5.
Mason Semmons, get some water down, I reckon, because you are sweating it like no other. You're on the gas. What an amazing initial start with your campaign with the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
not a better way to start the season than with a 1-1. So, you know, I'm super pumped. The team's done an awesome job, and I feel very comfortable. So, it's just awesome to be back racing. I can't wait to keep pushing forward.
You found a lot of speed for your class, an unbelievable amount of speed. Where did that come from to take out this title for E1?
Just training, a lot of hard work. Me and Danielle Mcdonald, he's as we've talked about, he's taught me a lot, you know what I mean? So to be able to bring that to race day and work on it and use it, it's awesome to see that the hard work's starting to pay off.
Track was brutal, but managed to stay on them last few tests, which is good, but yeah, stoked.
Yeah, you must be really, really happy considering the monumental stack, which really did bend up your bike a bit. Your mental space going back into that last lap, how was it?
No, I kind of felt pretty good. Like I wasn't really, I felt pretty good coming in the last one. Just had a fresh mind and just tried to finish. That was the main goal, but yeah, achieved that. So on to the next round.
Bit of a bad start to the championship, but it's not the worst start I've ever had. So we're looking forward to the bit of a break we're having between the next round and building off what we had today. And obviously expecting to be a lot better.
Class EW saw the women race on the MXStore Ballards course over a 6-lap distance, with Jess Gardner stamping her authority fast. She opened up a gap of almost half a minute over Emily Carlson and Honda's Emma Milicevic, with the pair separated by a bare margin. For Carlson on her Yamaha, it was eyes on the prize and redemption after crashing midway through the opening lap of round 1. Positions remained the same after 2 laps, but then the pendulum started to swing into the favour of Milicevic CRF 250R. Carlson suffered a mishap on lap 3, allowing Milicevic to move up into 2nd place. And then the unthinkable happened. Despite all her experience and skill, Gardner clipped a tree root near the end of the 4th lap and crashed hard, fracturing a shoulder blade. She was able to get her bike back upright and underway, but would now have to battle on with a severe physical disadvantage. The unfortunate moment left the door open for Carlson and Milicevic, which they gassed through as Milicevic took the class lead at lap completion. From there, Milicevic just had to stay out of trouble. Easier said than done in those conditions, but she took home the round win by 18 seconds over Carlson, who finished in P2. Her world champion rival Gardner managing to fight through the pain to salvage a 3rd place overall. Most would be happy just to have made it to the finish, but for Jess, the realisation she'd been beaten after making an out-of-character mistake took its toll emotionally.
Emma Milicevic on the Honda Factory Racing Team. Congratulations, you just took out P1 in EW outright overall. Woohoo!
Thank you so much. I started off with a bit of a rough day, but a few crashes and stuff, but I smoothed it out and just tried to, just keep it upright for the day. You know, it was really rough out there and challenging, and yeah, it was a really good day.
Oh yeah, it's been a couple of crashes again today, so I don't know what's going on. It's just stressing too much, I think, and get into race mode again. You know, I struggle with nerves. I've done it for that long, but I still get really nervous, and that gets the better of me sometimes.
My friend, I see some tears. What's going on?
I was having a really good day. You would have seen the first 3 times I won the first 3 sprints, and I went down really hard in the 4th sprint. You can see I've got a towel taped under my shoulder so I could hold onto the handlebars. And yeah, it's been pretty tough. I think I'll be going to the hospital after this to see what I've done, but yeah, my shoulder's locked up, so yeah, I wanted to keep some valuable points. Obviously, I had a decent lead, so yeah, I was just trying to ride out there, but I'm in a fair bit of pain now.
And finally, the EJ class, kicking off with Blake Hollis in extremely strong form after dominating the round 1 super sprint format. But round 2 was a completely different story, as Sam Prashura turned the tables on his more fancied factory Yamaha Blue Crew rival and claimed a win for the privateers. The KTM 250 rider found this format suited his style and his bike and kept it wide open with smart, fast riding every lap. Hollis was unable to offer much in retaliation. The end result was Prashura finished a clear 44 seconds ahead of Hollis and Cody Stevens, Riley McGilvray and Kobe Wolf completing the top 5.
Sam Prashura, you've taken out the EJ class for round 2. Congratulations, you must be stoked.
Yeah, pretty happy with it. Yeah, last year wasn't too good, but nah, worked hard in the off season and it's finally paid off, so I'm real happy with it. But yeah.
Lots of training, and how did you find the track out there today?
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but I'm used to sort of riding in them conditions, so no, really happy with it.
Round 2 wraps with a Milner Masterclass, topping the overall standings, followed by a reigning Pro MX champ Todd Waters from E2, and in third, E1's Mason Simmons. Daniel Milner sits atop of the E3 standings on 50 points, 6 clear of Jonty Reinders in second, and 10 clear of Thomas McCormack in third. Todd Waters, Josh Green and Michael Driscoll completed the top 3 in the E2 standings, with Jeremy Carpentier, Stefan Grunquist and Thomas Mason all tied for 4th place. In the E1 standings, Mason Simmons leads the way on his gas ahead of the Yamaha pair of Kyron Bacon and Luke Stike. In EJ, Sam Prashura and Blake Hollis equally share the top honours, with Cody Stevens sitting just 7 points behind in 3rd place. In EW, it's Emma Milicevic who is the surprise leader over the reigning champion Jess Gardner. The Honda rider leads by a slender 2 points heading into the next round, with Emily Carlson sitting 3 points behind the multi-time champion.
We finally went racing for round 1 and 2 of the Yamaha Australian Offroad Championship presented by MXStore, and boy did it feel good. A roller coaster of emotions and results from privateers to pro athletes. What will round 3 and 4 have in store? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Until then, my friends, keep it pinned, but ride safe.